So this is going to be a report of what has happened, and to make it precise, I have listed down about 20 questions, which I'll try to precisely answer. When I was admitted on Sunday, 7th of the February of 2021, 2021, I was admitted. On 8th, surgery took place, and I was admitted in Sancheti Institute of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation, also called Sancheti Hospital, which is based in Pune, India. So the surgery is basically is what I call it as anatomy restoral procedure, whereby they in place of PCL they place a tough tough bundle of tissue, and that tough bundle is fixated in place with screws which can be bioabsorbable or metal, depending on whatever the doctor chooses and is best for the whatever the procedure is. So NBM basically they because of the anesthesia and because of the anesthesia you are supposed to not eat for some time because you would vomit during the operation, and so I was told not to eat anything or drink anything 12 hours prior to the surgery. I was NBM for about 24 hours. I don't know what kind of anesthesia is given. All, I mean, the different types of anesthesia is what I mean. But I was given specifically the one that they insert inside the backbone, and my whole lower body is anesthetized, and I cannot feel any sensations nor have any motor control on my lower body. While giving the anesthesia, I did feel some pain, but it was nothing too dramatic. It was just like having some sort of injection intravenously or intramuscularly. It's no different than that. I lost all my sensation and motor control in 10 minutes. I could move legs, uh, fingers of my leg just to see how long it takes. It took about for 7 minutes, maybe 5 6 minutes. I was able to have some sort of motor control. 10 minutes, no, it was gone. Everything was gone. So the initial plan of the surgery was to do a double bundle reconstruction, where they place two bundles which resemble PCL and restore the anatomy just as it was originally. So what exactly happened in the surgery is that there were two doctors who operated on my knee, and in the MRI reports and in the MRI it looked like the whole PCL was blown. In the reports also, and they had suspected that there might be ACL tear as well as meniscus tear also. So for the same reason, they were thinking of doing multiple operations. I don't know what. So when they checked via the arthroscope, they found out that the posterior part of the PCL ligament was intact, and double bundle was not necessary. So they just went ahead with single bundle. That was one peculiarity. They just went ahead with single bundle reconstruction. So basically, how the surgery is done is in a very simple way. You have this tibia, and you have femur, which is thigh bone. Femur, which is thigh bone. So they take this graft from my hamstring. There are a few different locations that they can take graft from. One of them is hamstrings. Another one is patellar tendon, and also they take from quadriceps tendon. So in my case, they took from the hamstrings, and they have written in the report as semitendinous plus gracilis tendon. So they took it from there, and then the next step in the procedure is to dig a tunnel through my tibia from the posterior part to the anterior part. They dig a tunnel, and they dig tunnel not through and through, but through halfway through the femur. They dig a tunnel halfway through the femur and whole way through the tibia. They insert the graft and they fix it with the screws on both ends, on tibia as well as on the femur side. And that's it, that's the procedure. So my right leg was saved. No graft was harvested from my right hamstrings, which was initially planned. So I was lucky. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I was very lucky. So, so what actually happens is this graft that's done, the surgery is done. So what the graft did is it just restored the anatomy. That is, my tibia used to slide backwards. It doesn't anymore. So it restored the anatomy. But I can't run. I can't run. I can walk right away. I will need to give it some time to settle down. So what exactly happens in this time is that the tendon that they placed in place of PCL graft, which is called, it transforms into a ligament itself. So within 1 year, 2 years, the PCL transforms the grafted tendon that they kept in place of PCL. That transforms into a ligament, and it becomes a PCL itself. So this process is called ligamentization, and it's extremely insane the way our body is, the way it manages injuries, and the way it regenerates stuff. It's insane. And the doctors too. Like, we do stuff with machines, we do stuff with things, mechanical objects, and they do stuff with organic objects. It's the most insane thing ever. So, experience post surgery, nothing had changed. I was not sleeping during the operation. I was awake. I could hear everything, though I could not see. My vision was obstructed with this bed sheet. So in the recovery room, I was not feeling any pain because of the anesthesia. I could not feel anything. Within half an hour of coming out of the operation room and going into the recovery room, I gained some sensation and some motor control from my ankle to the fingers. So I was able to move in both legs, but I was a little bit powerless in left because obvious reasons. I did not drink until 1900 hours in the evening to 2000 hours in the evening. So I did not drink, and my surgery was done at about 17:30, which is in the evening. So post 2 hours post that, they had recommended me to start drinking and eat something very soft, semi-solid. So I just drank after that, and I was all right. They suggest to start slowly because of the effects of anesthesia. If you directly eat something too much, if you eat too much, you might feel nauseated and you might vomit. I started with 2-3 sips of water. Yes, I could urinate, although not when I wanted to. I drank water, and I kept on drinking water little by little till 10 p.m., 2200 hours, and by 00 hours, my stomach was full of urine, as in the urinary bladder was full of urine, and but I could not feel any sensation. So I waited for about 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and finally I could urinate at 1:40 hours into the midnight. Otherwise, if I had not urinated at that time, which is 1:30, 1:40 of the morning, they would have inserted a catheter inside my urethra, which goes up to the urinary bladder, which drains the liquid inside the urinary bladder. But it's a painful process. Thankfully, I avoided it in time. Yes, I could. After urinating, I could sleep. Uh, yeah, I did have a nice sleep. After urination, I was relaxed and I slept. Food and stools, I could urinate properly. I did urinate properly. Stools, there was no chance. I had not eaten anything for more than 24 hours, more than 36, more than 30 hours. I had not eaten anything. Food, yes, they told me to go with the full diet and not have any problems. Just told me to go with full diet. I was still bit not wanting to eat anything because I was on bed. I was bedridden for about that whole day, and I did not want to feel any pain while going to washroom. Next day, the doctor in turn came and they changed the dressing. It was the leg was extremely swollen. It looked too big. It looked as if I've never seen my leg being that big. It was very big. It was swollen from my thigh to my almost to the ankle. You can say maybe not the ankle. It was swollen as if someone has filled some fluid with it inside of it. So nothing else apart from that to change the dressing, and I saw there were about 8 stitches, and I saw the wounds, and there were about 8 stitches. Four of them are in this area, and the rest of them are over here. So there is a big slit, uh, which they had to cut to insert arthroscope and other instruments and other stuff. Here also there is a cut. I don't know why. Here there is a cut. Again, I don't know the reason for all those holes and cuts there are. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. So I don't feel any pain anywhere else. As of now, I don't feel any pain. I'm touching it even on the stitches. I don't feel any pain. Everything is all right. Hamstrings. Yeah, the pain was bearable and it was expected. I expected some amount of pain. I've had surgeries in past, and the kind of pain that I have felt was a different sort of pain, but painful. This was also there was this time also there was pain, but it was not as bad. It is a different place where the operation took place, but it was not as bad. It was bearable. It was as if you just got wounded and that kind of pain. It was nothing inside the knee. It was just like a normal thing. Like if you fall off of somewhere and you get hurt, you get big wounds. That sort of pain, nothing much. The thing that was very odd and very uncomfortable was my hamstrings, which they grafted tendon from. The hamstring it pained very much, considering the position my leg was in, which is 100% in extension, 0 degrees. So I'm already less flexible, and so it was paining more than it was uncomfortable as well as it was paining. Any sort of adjustment I went to do, some sort of adjustment in my position of sitting or something like that, it just pained, and it just the pain stayed like that for about next 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. After that, it was about manageable. So on the day post operation, uh, physiotherapy after the dressing was done, physiotherapy commenced at about early evening. They came and they told me several exercises, some 4 5 set of exercises, some hip abduction exercises, ankle pumps. They told me to do about 500 times a day, and it was not a typo. It was in that protocol as well. They said it as well, so it was not a typo. The reason why they tell everyone, whoever has even plaster, if anyone has put on their knee, they ask everyone to do ankle pumps. The blood flow is restricted a lot. This results in formation of clots near the calves. So they recommend us to do ankle pumps to get rid of them and just to keep the blood flow going. So after physiotherapy was done, they asked me to try walking in terms of no weight should be borne by left leg. I'm supposed to stand on my right leg. On this left leg is supposed to be in air, and I'm supposed to use a walker. So doctors either recommend crutches or walkers. So crutches I feel are easy because your hands are free, and walker is, I don't know why, it's just uncomfortable. But again, operation is also not very comfortable, so you gotta face it. Other instructions that they gave me was to not put any stress on my left leg, to not engage my left leg in anything other than what the physiotherapy exercises are. And I was instructed not to take off my knee brace for about 1 month. That's what they instructed. And there should be no weight bearing, not even by mistake, not even a little bit. So those are few of the instruction. And and this is a video of me walking. This is on the second day of operation, after operation, and yeah, it did not feel very comfortable at all. It did not feel very comfortable. It does not feel comfortable even now. I don't know. I don't know if people even get used to it, using walking on walkers for a long, long time. But mine is going to be here for about a month and a half, not more than that. And I did not say hopefully. What was the difference? Everything was pretty much the same as it was on second day, except the swelling had gone down, and they just were getting me ready for the discharge. I was discharged at around 5 p.m. in Sanchiti Hospital, for single bundle reconstruction of PCL. The whole cost of going into the hospital and coming out cleared was 1,75,000 Indian rupees. So out of 175,000, about 80%, 75% of bill was just operation, the surgery, and the surgical consumables. The rest was room rent, miscellaneous charges, nursing charges, medicine charges, everything else. 75% of the cost, that is about, it amounts to around 1,20,000 to 30,000, was just about the knee. Since discharge, 1 week has been completed, and on 18th I'm recording this video. I want to mention a few things that have happened, and if anything out of ordinary happened in all these days. And yes, there has been, and it happened 4 times, which is I was instructed not to step my left leg on the ground on the floor, and I did it 4 times. I did it, and all of them happened by mistake. But when it happened, that's about 20-30% of my body weight must be on my left leg at that time, at the point of contact of my left leg to the floor. And I felt some electrifying sensation inside my knee, at the back of the knee, in middle somewhere, and my hamstring started paining, and it was not very pleasant. I got scared for a moment there. If something had gone wrong or something like that, it had happened, because it's very risky. Like, your leg has been operated upon, it has been torn apart. In some places, it has been dug tunnels into, and to make it all right. And after that, just because of a little bit of negligency, it gets blown off. It's a pretty bad thing. So 4 times it happened, and last time it happened was about 2 days ago. I hope that fourth was the last time. Anything apart from this? No, nothing else out of ordinary. The basic, it doesn't pain. Of course, if I do movements, it pains, but I'm not supposed to do any movement, so it does not pain. It is painless. It is uncomfortable. I'm sitting and sleeping the whole day. I barely walk up for about, I'm on my foot for about 20-30 minutes in those 24 hours. And this has led to some pretty serious pain in my buttocks, mainly my left one. But it's manageable. I'm using some pillows and some other stuff to manage it. Now, because of sitting, also I'm not using my left leg anymore. In my previous video, I talked about muscle atrophy. I didn't talk about it, but I mentioned a few figures. One figure actually, just 20% of muscle was atrophied in my left thigh. I did not check the calves. I did not check the buttocks, but seemingly the whole skin has come. So actually, the camera overheated, so I switched to my phone. So I was talking about the muscle atrophy. So the whole skin is come loose up to the buttocks, so that's why it pains even more, I guess. In this video, you can see the muscle atrophy very clearly. Maybe not very clearly, but it is there. It is significant one, as I said, 30%. And also, not just that, the difference, the way I can contract, I could contract my muscles is also changed. I can't do it very quickly. It has to be very slow. If I do it quickly, something on the right of my kneecap pains, and it is overall not a very snappy experience, if I can put in that way. People's experience with the surgery that they have, and this is the last part. People's experience with the surgery, and it's people have varying experiences. Like, there are many people on YouTube. If you go to look at the videos, and you'll find a lot of people who have documented their own progress in their respective reconstructions. But most of the videos are related to ACL and injuries and reconstruction, because it is such a common thing. So there are a lot of videos on it. So in the videos that I've watched, people are walking on the surgery or day of the surgery itself. They are putting some weight on the leg, and they are normal. They're like chill with their leg, and they're not bedridden like I was for 4 days, which is still better than. This is the least amount of time I've been admitted in any hospital. Like, the minimum before this was a week. So maximum has been about 21 days. So 4 days, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, it's pretty minimal for me. So people have been going into the hospital, getting the knee operated, then coming back to their homes. You should not compare. Everyone's recovery is different. Everyone's procedure is different. Also, the biggest differentiating factor here is the ACL and PCL reconstructions. That is the biggest factor to be taken into consideration. PCL takes generally a lot longer to heal, and the rehabilitation process is also very slow, and so it should not be compared. And physiotherapy should be done regularly, is what I would say. In the description, I will put a few links to some informative videos regarding the ligamentization, the healing processes, stitching processes, the PCL reconstruction, 3D animations of sorts, just for the sake of information. I'm trying to make this video as informational as possible. I'm trying. I don't have any prior experience in making videos, let alone for YouTube. Nor do I have any experience of explaining things or my experiences. So I am hoping to make this thing somewhat informational and somewhat informational for people who are looking for this sort of information. Too many mosquitoes. Okay.